Hello Internet, welcome back to our Prison Escapee series. And we're going to be just exploring the town a little bit more, I think. There's not a whole lot going on. I see in the lower right we have an over map displayed on our side panel, which I don't love. I don't see a point to that, but I also think it's fine. Let's turn that off. How do I turn you off? Tab. Yes. Look, I don't like that, but I don't think that it really has anything to do with, like, it's not harmful to the game, so there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine. Just don't really want to look at it. Welcome back, everyone. So, last couple episodes, we had some major sound issues. I have not fully worked those out, so I might still sound a bit strange. Every time I think I fix it, it's still broken. So, that's not great, and it's an ongoing process, but it's either stream with subpar volume or don't stream at all, and I figured probably should just keep streaming. So sorry about that. YouTube in particular, I know you hate things like that, but it is what it is. So it looks like we have, I'm assuming, our unsorted pile here. Did we ever make piles? We didn't really need to. We're just going to keep exploring. It's early in the game, so we really need to be collecting as much stuff as we can. And yeah, that's right. Don't love the town. I almost never like the towns I spawn in, but what are you gonna do? Military surplus is pretty nice down there. Electronics store is nice to have, but there's not a lot of houses around us, which is where we would really focus in the early game. Because pushing into the city is a little bit dangerous, so we would prefer if it was just houses in the outskirts area like this, but there's not that much here. So I think we will push down in this direction while we explore. Hello, Jack. I thought you were playing Hell Let Loose. I thought I saw you post. So we're just going to head out and keep exploring, I think. And hopefully my audio is tolerable. Hooray. So we're going to head down here. Ever since I added the compressor to slobs, I've been having some issues. So I don't know if it is the compressor or if it's just, a coincidence that those things happened around the same time, but having a lot of audio issues, trying to find like a system-wide equalizer that equalizes the way I want it to, and it's been pretty tricky to find what I'm looking for. So what can you do? Definitely are going to check this garage while we're here. Screwdriver, sure. Hammer. I don't know if we have a proper hammer, and I'm never going to use the flare gun, so I don't see a reason to take that. I guess this is a house here. Yeah, so let's loot the house for goodies. Hello, everyone. Very tolerable. Well, that's good news. That's good news. Surprised to see some of you here when you, I figured would be playing Hell Let Loose. I think that game looks really interesting. I think it's a little lackluster in certain regards, but I was excited to play it, and my computer just does not want to cooperate, and I struggled to get above. I think, like, I set it to 30 FPS and like 720p and was still only getting like 20 frames a second sometimes, and it's just not tolerable for like streaming or whatever, so that's a bummer. I think I might play Call of Duty, the original, at some point, because I'm in the mood for a World War II game, and I'm pretty sure that one will run okay. But we'll see how that goes. Yesterday I played 911 Operator on the channel. I had a good time with that. I don't know if it's content that people are going to be excited to watch or not. It's a little bit lackluster, but I enjoyed the game mostly. Are we still wearing 2 packs? We're not. Oh, we are. We should not be. What does our torso encumbrance look like? Do 30. It's not super terrible, actually, but as they fill up with items, it's going to get worse. So let's lose. I'm assuming the only reason that this is higher is because the backpack actually has objects in it. I imagine they're on the same, like, base encumbrance. So let's just lose the backpack for now. How's everyone doing? Tried really hard not to yell at people. It's kind of fun. Yeah, you missed out on that war and stuff. Yeah, war. I've heard war never changes. I think Ron Perlman told me that. I don't really remember. No, I don't want the toilet water. Soap. Is there a purpose for dental floss? Can it be used as like cordage or anything? Can be used. Nothing you know of can be crafted with it. Okay, that probably just means we don't have any recipes. Floss seems like one of those things that might fit somewhere as a possible. The Vinegar Maker's Handbook. Sure. That seems like something that might have some purpose. I think I've heard of people using... No, that's fishing line. I was going to say for sutures, but I don't think that's true. I think I'm thinking of fishing line. I think we'll take the tofu and fruits. I was going to leave them behind, but, you know, really no reason not to take them. Why don't we eat some fruits? We're in kind of a not great mood because we're in pain and whatnot. And we do need to start managing our health a little bit, just because we've been throwing ourselves at the enemies without too much concern, and that's generally not in our best interest. Hydrogen peroxide is pretty good. Cough syrup. Take the inhaler, I guess. No, don't fill the tub with cough syrup. We have a canteen. You know, when I started playing, I used to carry canteens on me at all times because I thought it was really nice to have a beverage I could drink at my leisure. But I actually think that even the small amount of encumbrance that it offers, I don't think it's worth it. Just because you can, most of the time when I play the game, I can easily return to my base. Where that would be, you know, a place for me to drink as necessary. So I don't do canteens anymore. You know, I don't wear anything that gets strapped to my character. You know, it's the same thing. When I started playing, I used to wear sheaths all the time. I used to always carry canteens, binoculars, all that stuff. Nowadays, I might throw a pair of binoculars on, but that's really the only thing. Though some hold it as a panacea, it doesn't have any medical benefit. I was glad to see they changed that description. Someone posted a picture of royal jelly yesterday, and it had the description that it would cure most ailments. And I thought, oh, that needs to be fixed. But I guess that was probably from the stable version. So, can we pick those things up? We can. We're a bit full up on inventory, so let's just head back to base. War never changes. Used to give me goosebumps as a kid. I liked it when I was a kid. I remember one of the first things I ever wrote and shared with someone was a rehashing of Fallout 1. It was basically just a summary of Fallout 1, but it was one of the first things I ever wrote. And I remember back in the day, all the kids this was like middle school, all the kids in my school were making their own websites. Like you could... they used to have these sites where you basically would cookie cutter, you know, select elements and it would build you a website. And I remember posting on my own website and having a friend from school read that story. I remember he really liked dog meat. And of course he had not played the games, so to him it was all original. And I'm sure I didn't tell him that I stole it all from Fallout 1, but... what are you gonna do? I think when you first learn to do stuff, you generally, like, regardless of what it is, you tend to ape other things. So, like, if you're, you know, let's say you're an artist and you're first getting your first attempts at drawing, well, you're probably gonna, like, pick up an anime that you like and draw those characters. You're probably gonna maybe trace a few things to try and learn, you know, that kind of stuff. I think it's the same way with writing as well. Most of my writing when I was a kid was like... it was literally just copied from other works. How did where'd my maps go? I just dropped. Did I not drop them? I did drop them. Where are my maps? I just had 2 maps. Peterborough, yeah, the survivors map we used previously. Where'd my maps go? They seem to have been deleted from existence. Is that what I'm seeing here? It's literally only one tile full of stuff. Map. Did it not have map in the name? Look for Peterborough. No results. I spelled it wrong. Go back, Peter. Okay, you can't search based on... there's clearly Peter. Capital P maybe? Peter? You can't filter based on the town name attached to a map. and those maps seem to have been deleted from existence. Well, that's a bummer. I mean, they were just tourist maps, so they're not going to reveal anything super relevant. But having an item get deleted out from under me is a pretty unpleasant experience. Is it in here somewhere? And I'm just an idiot? I don't think... Yes, tourist... Oh, it was tourist guides. They're not maps. Okay. Activate tourist guide. My mistake. Internet, don't hate me. Drop those. I don't know what tourist guides reveal. Probably like restaurants and gas stations. Maybe... No. Why would a tourist want a gas station? Museums and stuff. Grocery store. That's probably the survivalist map revealed that. Anyway... How goes the prisoner run, Murder? I mean, it's the same as every other game. You know, we get out of, we got out of the prison pretty weirdly fast. Like within probably an hour of playing, we were ready to leave the prison. So that was pretty short. And then, yeah, we just migrated into town. We do have an electric vehicle. Oh, I'm using the wrong tile set. Excuse me. I had switched tile sets back to dead people for a video I'm making. We want to be playing on Altica. Sorry about that. Even though I'm sure YouTube... my first Altica video hasn't gone up on YouTube yet, but I'm anticipating a huge amount of negative response to switching tile sets. But anyway, we found an electric vehicle, which is nice. Now we're just sort of clearing the town to gather basic supplies. Normal early game stuff. Hey Jack, what is this run? It was a prison escape, which we did. It was the land-based prison, and was very fast to clear, and then since we've left, we're just sort of playing. See, that's the thing, I always name my series after whatever the scenario is, but the reality is that most of the scenarios are over within an hour or two. So, you know, by the time we're on episode 45, people are like, How is this the plate armor delivery boy? You know, you're not wearing plate armor. It's like, well, I came up with that back when it was, you know, a brand new series. Anyway. Murder, have you ever watched Sword Art Online? I watched the first 2 seasons. Really... So here's the thing about Sword Art Online. One, it's popular, and anything popular is bad, so I'm a contrarian, don't like popular things. But it's very generic. It's a very wide appealing series. It's not super good at anything. It's not very inventive or clever or you know, really anything exceptional about it. But it has that mass appeal, which is what has made it so very popular. I mostly liked the first half of the first season where they're actually in... I forget what they're called. Second half of the season with the fairies, not so much. And then season 2 with the gun, whatever, was just okay. But it's an interesting series. Just started. I mean, it came out like 6 years ago. I suppose I shouldn't have said anything about it, but sorry, I assumed you had watched it. What did I just kill? Is a tough zombie? He looked really bulky. I thought he was a brute. Well, sorry about that. I really hate when I give spoilers for things. You know, when I was like 16, so Death Note is another anime that we really liked when we were teenagers. That's the other thing about Sword Art. I kind of think it's aimed at like teens more than anything. When I was like 16, we were all really big into Death Note, and I had seen the whole series, you know, whatever, it had been out for a little while. And my buddy was like, yeah, I'm really into Death Note. And I was like, oh man, so this thing, and I spoiled it for him. I told him this thing that happens in like, towards the end of the series. And he was like, dude, what the hell? You just spoiled the series. I was like, it happened, you know, not that deep into the series, really. I mean, you know, and you said you were watching them, and he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm reading the manga first, so I'm going really slow. I'm only watching like one episode every couple of weeks. And I was like, I ruined that series. And there's a pretty big spoiler that happens in Death Note. I felt really bad about that, but I don't know. I don't think about things, especially when they're older. We should really peek before we wander into the street. Yeah, especially because of this right here. Hello, zombies. This is... Why are there so many of you? You all look basic to me, but I don't know Altica very well. Zombie, zombie. So they are just variants of the standard zombie sprite. There's a brainless. That's right. I can kind of see that you don't have a head, but at a distance it sort of looks like... I don't know. I guess it is a headless zombie. It sort of looked different to me. I don't know why I get the female... I just didn't even look at the head. Okay, so a headless and some basic zombies. Anything else? Just basic, and then one of these tiny children. Okay. I swear zombies feel faster in Altica. I don't know, I didn't pay attention to them. The realism aspect does make the game feel different. The sprites looking more human and less cartoony definitely have an impact. I just don't know really how to explain what that impact is. So we don't want to go over there. We were gonna go to this electronic shop and military surplus. I think it would be smarter to come down through the forest and go across instead of trying to cross up here. So we probably won't do that because we don't want to get murdered. And then public space I think is pointless. About vehicles, I ran into some problems with the motor. I installed an electronic engine. My car moved too slow, so I decided to install another one, but it just doesn't want to install. I have a crane and all sorts of things to install it. Are there any restrictions about installing more than one of them? So in order to install multiple engines in a vehicle, you need a certain mechanic skill. I believe 2 engines requires 8 mechanics. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And then 3 engines is 12 mechanics, which is like not obtainable, really feasible in the game. So I think it was 8 and 12. I might be misremembering. But yes, you need a mechanic skill in order to install a secondary engine. And the reason you're going slow is probably because your vehicle's too heavy for the engine that you have. What you could do is try to look for a more advanced engine, something a little bit more powerful. There are various stages of electric motors. I shouldn't say engine, I guess, because they're motors. But so if you can find like a higher one, then I would recommend that. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to need to grind mechanics. It should tell you, I think, if you examine the vehicle and go to install a second motor or something, it should say in the requirements, like mechanics 8 or whatever. I could be misremembering that. Why do you have interior locked doors? Who locks the interior door of their house? Honestly, there's not a single locked door in my home right now other than our front door. And they might not even have locked that when they left the house, so who knows? Of course, I live in the country, so I don't know. Maybe you worry about people coming in a window. Well, there's no window there either. Am I still wielding the tonfa? I am. It's slightly damaged, but not really enough to do anything about it. Like, I don't think we have a soldering iron. So let's just press to the military surplus. We have enough stuff that we can carry some things. There's probably a few backpacks in there as well, if need be. I would actually really like to get eyes on this road before we cross it, so I can get an idea of what's over here. A lot of zombies down at the military surplus. Actually, this looks like a house, so I'm guessing that's down here. Still gonna need to go there, though. Electronic shop would be nice as well. They're pretty far away, and they're not nearly as many as there were previously. You didn't spoil, but I should have said I just started it. I mean, I should just not run my mouth so much. Whatever. And again, I don't know what the rate of like acceptable spoilers is. Like, obviously, I would feel comfortable spoiling something from 30 years ago because everyone who wants to see it has probably already seen it. But I vaguely remember Sword Art being like 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know what the window is, so I shouldn't have said anything. It is what it is. But I don't think the show is bad. I think it's interesting. There's definitely some like weird stuff to it. There's some, choices I wouldn't have made, and I feel like they don't expand on the story enough. They tend to be very self-contained, very small type arcs. They tend to be like, we meet a character, so we go through their entire character arc in one episode, and it's, I don't know. It's not a bad show. People love it. It's so popular for some. I don't really get it. I tend to like animes that are a lot more peculiar, tend to be a little bit darker. You know, like my two preferred animes at the moment, although I haven't really seen them more than once, so they might be terrible, and I just have like nostalgia bias for the one time I saw them, was like Mirai Nikki and Another are the two animes that I really liked. I would really like to clear these enemies, so we are going to just kind of face tank a bunch of them here, because we would like to get to the military surplus. Used to be you could find really good stuff in a military surplus. Nowadays, I think it's mostly just backpacks and MREs, which aren't super valuable, but, you know, we'll at least check it out. We should go in if we're gonna stamina regen. You know, close the curtains. There we go. Get our stamina back. You are a streamer. It is expected for you to talk. Yes, I do talk. The worst thing about Altica is that there is no sprite for turrets. Oh, I didn't know that. We haven't seen a turret yet. It's from 2014. I'm on season 1, episode 14. Doro Hidoro is another one that I like. I've heard of that. I don't know how to say it, so I might have said it wrong, but I've heard of that, haven't watched it. I have a huge list of animes that have been recommended to me. I try to only watch anime occasionally, just because, you know, it's one of those things. I feel like if you spend all your time, like, because it doesn't represent, like, if you watch, let's not have that discussion. Actually, I don't want to alienate any weebs or anything. What are you? You're Zapper Zombie. That's pretty bad. Tonfa is plastic, so we can hit it without too much concern. What armor are we wearing? Is the riot gear metal or just plastic? It is just plastic, so we're okay to fight this Zapper Zombie. We shouldn't get too shocked, and if we do get zapped, we will retreat immediately. We're gonna just keep an eye on our message log. Protects, okay. Quickly strike, quickly strike. Our riot armor is protecting us from a lot of abuse as well. Said wrong, but I can't even say correct. I mean, that's another issue with anime, is that sometimes it's a little difficult to pronounce things. Yeah, I try not to overdo it on anime. It's a different culture. Yes, shouldn't have done that. Let's in fact back up to this house, since we have so many coming at us. Try to avoid the tiles that'll slow us down, and let's just stamina's okay. Let's let them come around the house to us. Oh, that's the sound indicator, I guess. You know, anime is peculiar. There's often suggestive things that I don't really enjoy spending my time with. You know, if you watch a television show, it tends to have more realistic relationships, interactions between people. I think if you spend all your time watching anime, it can pollute the way you think human beings interact. You know, I've definitely met people who are way more into it than me, that struggle a lot more in social interactions because they don't really understand normalcy. Did you break this window? Oh, it was open, so you just slipped in, huh? I don't know if that even makes sense, but yeah, try to limit my anime intake. I haven't watched an anime in a while, actually. What was the last anime I watched? I have no recollection. It probably was like a year ago. I haven't watched in a while. 6 or 8 months ago, maybe. Probably. Jeez, I literally can't remember. I feel like I checked out some of the ones that released in 2019 that I'd never... Oh no, you know what? The last anime I watched was Defrag. I don't know if there's like a proper name to it, but the version I watched was titled Defrag. We got an achievement called Sentinel, which means we killed 100 zombies already, which is pretty impressive for day one. Nothing really on them. It was Defrag. Someone had recommended it to me, if I remember right. It's about a club. I really like animes that kind of focus on, like, I'm a loner that nobody likes, and I'm gonna try to make friends, because that's me, right? I have no friends, and I'm a loner. So I tend to like animes. It's like, I'm coming out of my shell. I joined a club after school. I'm gonna make friends, and then it's just a bunch of weirdos, and they all hang out together. That's kind of my preferred anime. Why did someone recommended that to me after I liked a different anime, and I can't remember what it was. But regardless, anyway, that anime is just like, just okay. It's not very impressive or anything. I know one guy who has succumbed into anime and now he thinks about it all the time. I mean, anime will dominate your mind. Someone told me to check out ReZero, so I'm watching that. Yeah, I've heard of that one as well. I don't think I've ever seen that. Boss Lady is Japanese, so part of the family. I did not know. We may have talked about that at some point. I don't really remember. Sorry. But, okay. I think you had mentioned... It doesn't matter. Anyway. Not to embarrass myself on stream. We're taking a lot of hits here. Try to break out of the grab note. Just murder it. Okay, we're in the mill surplus. We have some bandages, so why don't we deal with our bleeding wounds. I don't really want to use good bandages. I don't suppose this counter has any fabric on it. We could tear something up, but honestly, by the time we rip up some clothes, it's probably going to stop on its own. In fact, one of them has already stopped bleeding.